Hey peeps, I know that we all know the rules of engagement by now, but I just want to put out a reminder. This is bait. This is bait.
I'll just spin for just a second, Les. You can see, remember the St. John's Church, the center of the riots and protests of the BLM in the summer of 2020? Obviously, this here is where they erected this Black Lives Matter Plaza and painted on the street. But as you mentioned, it's not just being painted over, John. It's being torn up. Let me show you. We've just watched hours of a jackhammer tearing up some bollards that lined the street. They had lights on them. This is where the word matter was. The next block, lives, and the next block, black. So these crews are out here actually tearing up the bollards to begin tearing the entire street up. It says it's going to take them days to do this because of the amount of work, but they're ultimately going to return this entire 16th Street back to just a paved road. Nothing painted in here. No Black Lives Matter.
They want us out in those streets real bad. And so they are doing stuff like this to incite anger within us. They are playing with our emotions, and they want to use us to bring about martial law. Oh, the big, bad, scary black people, yeah, they're causing havoc. There's violence in the street. They are causing destruction. Let's implement martial law because that's what we've been trying to do all along. Traumatize us, beat and batter us, murder us, and then use us to implement martial law. Don't allow them to do that. Don't allow them to use your emotions to hurt you. Don't allow them to do that. Don't allow them to play with your emotions. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be feeling angry. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be feeling frustrated or disappointed or hurt. Feel all of the feelings. I just want you to understand what it is that they are trying to do. Don't allow them to use your emotions to hurt you. Please stay home. Don't let them use you. Learn how to bake bread. Cook that one pot pasta meal that everybody is talking about from the Duchess, Megan of Sussex series over on Netflix. Everybody's talking about how good that one pot pasta meal. I've seen the lemon raspberry cake that she showcased. People are baking that. Yeah. Get on the treadmill. Read a book. Like I said, take a nap. One of my favorite pastimes. Here's what the mayor put out. Mayor Muriel Bowser. She says, we have long considered Black Lives Matter Plaza evolution, and the plaza will be part of DC's America 250 mural project, where we will invite students and artists to create new murals across all 8 wards. The mural inspired millions of people and helped our city through a very painful period. But now we can't afford to be distracted by meaningless congressional interference. The devastating impacts of the federal job cuts must be our number one concern. Our focus is on economic growth, public safety, and supporting our residents affected by these cuts. Don't let them use you. Them removing Black Lives Matter from the roadways shouldn't change your outlook on Black Lives Mattering. Because over here, Black lives will always matter.
Welcome to the channel where we break down the truth, challenge the narratives, and keep our community informed. If you are tired of the lies, the distractions, and the attempt to divide us, then you are in the right place. From the destruction of Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. to the rolling back of diversity, equality, and the inclusion programs, we see what is happening and we are not falling for the trap. They want us emotional, and they want us reactive, and they want to use our anger against us. But here, we move with strategy, knowledge, and unity. This channel is about empowerment. We talk history, politics, movement, and most importantly, solutions. Because tearing down a mural doesn't erase a movement. Removing programs doesn't erase a people, and rewriting history doesn't change the truth. So if you are here to stay informed, to build, and to be part of something bigger, hit that subscribe button. Join the conversations, because silence is not an option. Let's get to work.
They started the destruction of the Black Lives Matter mural on Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. today. And I say destruction instead of reconstruction because they are actually literally destroying the street in order to just repave it. Now, it took millions of dollars to actually design this mural, and they are saying that it's going to take hundreds and thousands of dollars to actually reconstruct it. But I just want to stress again that they are actually using our tax dollars to destroy this street, just to reconstruct it and redesign it, when we are literally getting ready to go into a recession. I also hear that they are going to rename the plaza as well. And as of today, they have not actually confirmed that yet and confirmed the actual new name. Now, this mural is actually north of the White House. So I believe this is something that number 47 has to see every time that he flies into the White House. So of course he wants it gone. Is this helping our economy? Is this actually helping anyone save money? Do you know anyone that this is actually going to help? Let me know.
So they tried to get black people in a frenzy by removing Black Lives Matter Plaza in D.C. They expected us to riot. They expected us to respond with ignorance. But we literally, as a people, have turned our noses up and said, try harder, okay? It is absolutely amazing to me, just the depths that, MAGA, DC, and the people in the White House will go to try to incite and agitate, marginalized communities. So I just want to say this to the 92%, the 80%, I'm proud of us.
Y'all know we here for it. What we have an opinion, not that it matter. Okay, let's stir the pot. Yo, this is my opinion about the Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C. being taken up, painted over, done away with. Cool, that's fine. We need to quit getting caught up in the symbols. The symbols are genuine, they're lovely, we appreciate it, that's cool. But we as black people, we must look at ourselves and understand that our lives matter. As a people, as one another, we must look at each other and say, okay, my life matter, your life matter. Damn what they think, okay? They're going to think no matter however we try to preach it to them, switch it to them, it's people out there going to feel like our lives don't matter. And that's fine. Let them feel that way. Because some of us might feel like their lives don't matter too. You feel me? So it is what it is. But we can't get caught up in the symbols of Black Lives Matter or whatever the case may be. Our lives been matter since the birth. You feel me? All lives matter. Yeah, everybody's lives matter. But we must be more dominant with paying attention to our lives and making sure our lives matter. So we must protect each other. We got to stop trying to hurt each other. We got to stop doing anything to bring each other down. That shows that our lives matter. You feel me? Not just when somebody get killed or nothing like that. In all fashions, in all ways of life. You feel me? We must treat each other as our lives matter. You feel me? When it's doing business, when it's shopping, whatever. When we run into each other, when we see each other out, misunderstanding, our lives must matter in all situations with each other as black people. Damn what them other folks think. You feel me? They're going to think what they think. They're going to feel what they feel. And we're going to feel what we feel. We're going to think what we think. We're going to move how we move. But first, we must make sure our lives matter with us, not them. Because, you know what I'm saying? If we make sure our lives matter amongst us, then not say sometimes, but eventually some of those folks over there who don't think our lives matter will start thinking our lives matter. Because if some of those people think our lives don't matter because the way we treat each other, the way we do these things, and the way we hurt each other, the way we kill each other, you feel me, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? They feel like, okay, well, if y'all doing it to each other, then shit, we should be able to do it to y'all too, you feel me? Which, no, nobody should be able to do it to nobody. We all should be able to live peacefully, move, and have a great time, and do whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But as a black people, as a culture, you feel me, if we gonna stick together, we must make sure our lives matter amongst each other first before we try to worry about if a motherfucker on the other side think our lives matter. That's just how I feel about this situation. I don't give a damn if you think like I said in the beginning of the video, we here for it. Well, we have an opinion, not that our opinions matter, but we're going to give it anyway. Thank you for your time. We'll be right back with another video. Holla.
The thing is, you don't have to incite our anger. Some of us have never stopped being angry. Never. We wake up with this quiet resolve that America hates us, that a lot of the world hates us. We wake up already angry. So you taking away Black Lives Matter Plaza, you doing your little tit for tat DEI shit. It's just, it's really funny at this point. The fact that you think that you have to rile us up as if we're not already mad. Go figure. The thing.
Currently, as we speak, Washington D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser has decided to comply with some of the Trump anti-DEI initiatives, one of them being the removal of Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C. Now, if you live in most major cities, there were a lot of Black Lives Matter plazas that were erected throughout cities to really acknowledge the millions of people who took to the streets over the course of those couple years. I recognize that there were a lot of issues within the Black Lives Matter movement, especially what it ended up devolving to, the willingness to give up on crucial steps, the abolishing the police into defunding the police, into no police departments were defunded, and in fact a significant portion of police departments actually increased their funding over these years. All of these things are a stark reminder to all of us that when it comes to organizing, when it comes to fighting against fascistic, tyrannical systems, it is never okay to give in. Your movement cannot try to placate the more liberal, the more moderate, because every time it does, in the end, it will be dismantled. Black Lives Matter Plaza has symbolized across the country, symbolizes to me a fight that never ended, a fight that still continues. And at the end of the day, destroying a plaza does not stop a movement, but it is very, very disheartening to see it happen. And so I'm going to implore people to continue to organize, to continue to find groups to be a part of, to continue to fight against the fascism. Because at the end of the day, the fascism never stops with the bad guys or the people that you don't like. Fascism, as it's intended, is to come after all of us.
Did you hear about the anti-Semitic group of protesters at the Trump Tower today? I saw there was a group of people protesting the illegal detention of a green card holding citizen exercising the First Amendment right. What are you talking about? I don't care what they were protesting. They were all anti-Semitic in my eyes. What was the name of the group that was protesting today? Oh, nothing gets past this guy. All right, Jewish Voices for Peace. Sorry, who for peace was the anti-Semites in this situation? You've run out of words. That you cannot.
America has always been a country where some people have power and others fight to survive. You see, in the early days, poor Irish, German, Italian, and Polish immigrants struggled to find their place while the English made the rules. Over time, these groups stopped fighting with each other and united under whiteness, gaining privilege while black people and other marginalized groups were left behind. Fast forward to today, and we're seeing the same power struggles play out from the Trump administration. Instead of chains and land ownership, now it's about laws, policies, and public programs. The people in power are tearing down diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, cutting public assistance, and attacking the most vulnerable communities, just like they did back in the day. The question is, will we learn from history, or will we allow them to divide us again? Let's take a look at how different groups got along in early America and how their struggles connect to what's happening right now. So let's talk about who came to America, right? A long time ago, before the United States was even a country, many different groups came to North America to start a new life. Some came for freedom, some came for money, and some were forced to come. The main groups we'll focus on today are the English, the Irish, the Germans, the Italian, and Polish people. The English. They were the bosses of America. The English were the first big group to settle in America. They made the rules, controlled the land, and ran the government. They honestly believed that their way of life was best, and they looked down on other groups who were different. Now, the Irish, see, they were the outsiders. Many Irish people came to America because they were poor and had no choice. Some were indentured servants, meaning that they worked years of their life to pay off the cost of their trip to come to America. The English didn't like the Irish because most of them were Catholic, while the English were Protestant. The English thought the Irish were wild and uneducated, so they treated them unfairly. What about the Germans? Oh, they were the hard-working farmers. The Germans came to America to farm and build better lives. They mostly settled in Pennsylvania in the Midwest. The English didn't treat them as badly as the Irish, but they were still saw as different because they spoke German instead of English. Then comes the Italians and Polish people, late to the party. Now, the Italians and the Polish didn't come to America until like late in the party. They came in the early 1800s and 1900s. But when they finally arrived, they faced the same struggles the Irish did. Harsh jobs, bad treatment, and being seen as outsiders. So, did these groups get along? Well, at first, class, rich versus poor, was more important than race or ethnicity, because poor English, Irish, and Germans all worked together. But the English still had the power, and they looked down on the Germans and the Irish. The Germans, they stayed separate, building farms and communities, while the Irish, they just struggled in big cities. And over time, white people started coming together under a new idea: whiteness. You know why? Slavery. This is how slavery changed everything. At first, white people were divided by nationality: English, Irish, German. But once enslaved Africans became the main source of labor, white groups were given more rights and opportunities, while black people were treated as property. Over time, being white became more important than being Irish, German, or Italian. So here's some things to always remember. At first, different white ethnic groups struggled against each other. Over time, they united as white people, which gave them opportunities and privileges over black people. So even though they once faced discrimination, groups like Italians and Germans eventually gained acceptance into American society. This is how race, power, and history shape who gets treated fairly in America. We can understand how the past affects us today and why it's important to treat everyone fairly, no matter where they come from.
Hey, good morning, my people. Listen, let's talk for a minute. The only thing we should be concerned about is our own business, our own black business. The Proud Boys and all these other white militias that are geared up for a race war and waiting for us to, I guess, step out so that they can be unleashed upon us. I'm going to tell you something. The only business we should be minding is our own. The only reason we should come out in droves, in numbers, and in our security detail is when they're harming our people. If they're not fucking with us, don't fuck with them. If they're not harming our people, leave these motherfuckers alone. What y'all didn't know, and I tried to keep a lot of my shit under wraps, is I have about 250 brothers that are a part of my security force, but we need more. Brothers, step up, step up. We need each other. Let's make this the biggest security force ever. Marcus Garvey amassed a 1 million black man army. Believe it or not, he did. Let's do the same. No nonsense, no bullshit. We are the watchmen, my brothers. We are the watchmen. Stand with us. Hit my inbox. You know what I'm about. You know what I'm about. Step forward, brothers. Step forward, please. We are definitely needed. You get none but love over here with us. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. And you get protection. I call you my brothers because I'll never violate you. I call you my brothers because I'll never betray you. I'll never cross you. I never try to fuck your wife. I never try to do none of that shit. I got one of my own. And a lot of our people are afraid to trust each other because you've been screwed over by so many. We're not built that way. We're not built that way. We believe in loyalty. We believe in honor. We believe in respect for our own. And that's what I'm about. That's what me and my brothers are about. So I'm not the leader of this security force, but you can call me that. But we're all leaders in our own right. We're all warriors. Arise, warrior. Let that motherfucker wake up in you. Let that animal out the cage in you. Let him out the cage and let him walk back and forth for a little while. He needs to stretch his legs. Let's get together and let's train. Let's put our money together and let's build. Let's put our minds together and let's motherfucking set everything on fire. Not literally, figuratively. You get my point. We're strongest together. We're powerful together, brothers. No one can stop us. No one can stop us. I'm gonna say it again. No one can stop us. You understand? And I need you to know it. I need you to know it. Share this message, share this video. It needs to reach damn near every black man, every black veteran out here. Share this. We are the watchmen, my brothers. Stand toe to toe with your brother. You got me, and I got your back, 100%. But if you're doing harm to our people, you're on your own, period. The Italians were loyal to each other, and they dealt with bullshit that in their ranks between each other. Yeah, they were killing a lot of their own people. They were killing a lot of the people who were disloyal. They sure did. That's what loyalty is. You never go against your family. You never go against your own interest. I'm not gonna say too much because I could. Ashe, my brothers. You know I'm here. Holla at your boy.
Alright, let's get into it. The destruction of the Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington D.C. is just another example of the systematic erasure of black movements, voices, and history. Well, let's be real, this isn't new. It's the same playbook they have always used. When black people push for justice, for equality, for recognition, and the same system responds with suppression, whether it's through legal rollbacks, policy reversal, or in this case, literally removing a physical symbol of resistance, the goal is always the same, to make us feel like we are powerless, but we are not. Let's talk about what this move really means. First, the timing. The destruction of the BLM Plaza isn't just some random city project. It's happening at a time when the fight for black rights, representation, and justice is under heavy attack. Dual programs are being cut left and right. Affirmative action was gutted, and now spaces that symbolize black empowerment are being taken away too. This is part of a coordinated effort to push us back into silence, to undo the visibility that movements like Black Lives Matter brought to the mainstream. They want to erase the fact that we fought, that we stood up, that we demand change. And let's talk about the hypocrisy. The same people who scream about erasing history when it comes to Confederate status are the first to cheer when anything tied to black liberation is removed. They call it protecting culture when they defend symbols of oppression. But when it's about us, suddenly it's an eyesore, an inconveniency, something that needs to be taken down. The message is clear. Our history, our struggle, our demands for justice are only acceptable when they don't disrupt the comfort of the status quo. But let's be honest, Black Lives Matter Plaza was always symbolic more than anything else. Paint on a road doesn't change the fact that the same system that killed George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others is still alive and well. And that is the issue. We have to move beyond symbolism. It's easy to put up murals, change street names, and give out corporate statements. But what about real change? What about police reform? What about economic justice? What about dismantling the policy that disproportionately harm black communities? That is where the real fight is. Now, some people will say, oh, BML Plaza was just performative anyway, and yeah, in some ways it was. But even performative actions hold weight because they represent the fact that at one point there was so much pressure that they had to at least acknowledge the movement. The fact that they are erasing it now shows they think that moment has passed. They think we have moved on, that we are no longer watching. That is why we can't let this slide. We also need to pay attention to the bigger pattern here. This is not just about one street in DC. This is happening over the country. Cities are banning protests, limiting discussion about race in schools, and gutting diversity programs in workplaces. The Supreme Court already came for affirmative action, and now states are following suit with policy that make it harder for black students to access opportunities. You think this is a coincidence? It's not. And let's be real, some of these attacks are working because as a community we haven't been as united as we should be. A lot of the energy that was there in 2020 has faded. The marches stopped, the donations slowed down, the mainstream media isn't covering black issues the way they used to. They got what they needed from us: clicks, views, corporate PR points, and now they have moved on. But we can't afford to move on. If anything, this moment should be a wake-up call. They are showing us the real time that they have no problem erasing everything we fought for. So what is the response? Are we going to sit back and let it happen, or are we going to push back harder than before? Because here's the thing, erasing a mural doesn't erase the movement. Painting over those words doesn't erase the truth, and tearing down a symbol doesn't change the reality that the fight for black liberation is far from over. We need to refocus. The protests of 2020 were a moment, but movements hasn't built on moment. They are built on sustained action. That means getting involved in local elections, because of a lot of these rollbacks are happening at the state and city levels. That means supporting black-owned businesses, because economic power is just as important as political power. That means staying informed, calling out hypocrisy, and refusing to let them rewrite history while we are still here to tell the truth. And let's talk about strategy. We can't just react to every attack. We have to be proactive. We need to be building our own platform, our own institutions, our own spaces that they can't take away from us. Because at the end of the day, if we are always relying on their systems, they will always have the power to erase us when it's convenient for them. So to everyone watching this, don't just get mad. Be strategic, pay attention, get involved, hold your leaders accountable, keep the conversations going, because if we are trying this hard to silence us, it means our voices are more powerful than they want us to believe. Alright, that is it for today. If you made it this far, drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Do you think the destruction of Black Lives Matter Plaza was intentional? What do you think the next step should be? Let's talk about it. And as always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, because the algorithm isn't on our side. But together, we can make sure this truth gets out. I will see you in the next one.